Welcome, everybody, to this wonderful pop up live where we're going to be talking about how to handle the unexpected. There are things that happen in our day, in our business, and we're just supposed to know what to do. But many times it's just on the go we learn. And today I have Troy Hipolito with me, who's going to be sharing some of his tips and tricks, experiences. So definitely make sure you're dropping your questions. But before we get into this live, Troy, tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, I'm known as a not so boring LinkedIn guy, probably because I'm dry as toast and I kind of flipped it on its head. And so I always believe in helping other individuals, creating your brand, and just doing good stuff. So,
Hey, that's what we're about. So let's go into this. You actually experienced something recently that you weren't really prepared for. You probably heard about it, but looking back, you don't have to go into all the details, but what is it that happened and what's your lessons that you took away from it?
oh, yeah. So I think as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we're all about obtaining clients, building relationships, and keeping clients. And sometimes it goes awry, and you're figuring out that why did this go wrong. And so one thing I do is on Mondays, or some Mondays, I have something called Keep It Real Monday post, kind of tells what happened and how I fixed it. And so there's a number of things I could kind of bring up, but lately I had a good friend of mine. It was a client and a partner before, and I have a lot of partners, and he needed help on LinkedIn, and so we worked through it. Had a number of meetings, gave him a discount. I pushed the date out. I broke up the payments. I did a lot more than I should have, and it was very unexpected when he didn't pay because because I could have brought other clients in during that time. And so it wasn't really that so much. It was really well, half of it was that, and the other half was, um, you know, um, that you're burning time and you're adding frustration on top of it. And I had to think about that. I said, you know what? At the end of the day, it's my fault, not his fault. It's my fault because I made all these contingencies. And I had to reformulate and rethink about how I should have done that. And I know that I'm a giving person and I want to help, but how much will you help before it hurts you? And you have to put that on a scale. And one way to avoid a lot of those things is have your standards. And has to do with life. It has to do with clients. Figure out who your ideal prospect is, and who they're not, and stick with your guns as far as the rules. You might have some wiggle room depending on the partnership, and see how everything is going with that. And if there is information coming back in that will actually help your business. So there's different kind of deals you kind of want to work out. But if you have X amount of services, you know what to charge. If you have a buffer on payment, you got to have a limit on that. You never even want to give a discount. You want to give something extra, maybe, but giving a discount, what happens psychologically if you work with people a lot, they devalue your services. And that's the worst thing that you want. You don't want people to feel that what you're doing is less than, the cost should be less than what you're doing. Because what happens when you do that, it dilutes the whole process. And so I had to figure out what is my ideal client and who is not my ideal client. And then how can you work with them with the least amount of impact with the rest of your business. So sometimes clients will ask you to do stuff that's not in your wheelhouse. Sure, you can do it. I had an IT company before. I was a programmer. I was a top designer, UI UX person in Atlanta several years in a row. I'm pretty smart. I'm really good at a lot of stuff, but that's not any way to grow a business. So if you're doing a lot of stuff, you end up being a jack of all trades. You know, you need to concentrate on the stuff that actually is important, that brings money into your business and stability in your business. And so once you get a client, even if they're paying, if they're asking you to go way beyond what you're doing, it blocks you from growing. It blocks you from getting other clients, and it's a really brain drain, if you will. You want to avoid those things, and that's one reason you want to create partners. So on one hand, uh, you shouldn't really give out discounts, unless you have a partnership. And in a partnership, then that's a different arrangement. On the other hand, you don't want to go outside of your wheelhouse. So figure out programs that will cover the basis for your high end, and if you have a low end offer, make sure it is what it should be. As far as figuring out the right kind of client, for me, I define it as um, they're active on LinkedIn, right? Their target audience is active on LinkedIn up to a certain percentage. We can figure it out pretty quickly. You know, um, our client, which has their clients, they have to have a giving mentality, and they don't want to sell. LinkedIn is not a selling platform, right? It's a networking platform. It's a building platform. And the third is they have the ability to extend that relationship or close that deal. If they don't meet those three criterias, they're just not a good client. I'm not saying they're not good people, but they're not good clients for me, because my job is to help them convert. And you heard of the term, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So you have to be very careful on how you're doing that, because do you want to waste 2 or 3 months and people be disgruntled because they're not converting on their end? They're always
Mhm.
blame you. So you have to pick the right clients for the optimal success.
And you have to understand, what does that look like? What does that success look like? And giving
Hmm.
that explanation in the front. And I really want to say thank you, Troy, for sharing that. For those who are just popping in, this is how to handle the unexpected. As entrepreneurs, we just have situations that come up and we hear about it, but do we really know? Or we're kind of like just so in the zone that we're not paying attention. Then when something happens, you're like, what do I do? And so Troy just explained he had a client and it turned out it wasn't the right fit. It's understanding what is that right fit, is understanding when to ask for help, how to, what it's okay to say no.
Hmm.
Sometimes we don't want to say no, but that's understanding, like, this isn't a service that I provide, but I do know somebody who is really good with that.
Hmm.
And I can definitely introduce you to them, and you can decide if that's the person you want to work with. Sometimes
Yeah, and
we
there's
have to.
there's actually a profit model behind that too. So if just on the strictly business end, if I have a partner and I hand him clients, well, what's the chance of him handing me clients?
A lot.
Yeah. What if you have a program, a 10% referral program or whatever? They have programs, they tie it in. It's always good for you to kind of build that. So you just don't want to hand people off, but I always have like 5 different partners for different stuff, right? I am a LinkedIn expert. I work with other LinkedIn experts because maybe the type of person is a little bit different. I work with coaches, in case there's different type of coaches and stuff like that. A lot of times it's not a LinkedIn problem. It might be a business issue.
Mhm.
It could be an email deliverability issue. People don't realize, like, 40% of people, a lot of the emails just don't get delivered. I said, oh, and they may have a process issue. And so I have partners that specialize in some of these specifics, because at the end of the day, when I meet with someone and I have like a few slots of 15 minutes to give away, just to help people. And if I help them solve their immediate issue, not their company's issue, not their team's issue, that person right in front of me, you're building a relationship. And if I've solved that, or at least reduced their pain, there's one of 3 things that can happen. Um, they do as you say, and you've done your good deed for the week. Actually, helping others makes you feel good. It's kind of weird, but it's true. And you've done your good deed for the week. Number two, they're serious about their business. They go in there, they fix that one thing, and they look around. Wow, there's 22 other things that need to be fixed. Only Troy can do that. They hire me. And the third is they like you so much they give you a recommendation. Half of your business should be based on recommendation.
That social proof sells. But if you are somebody like Troy and I who want to go live, but we actually like going live, but you're struggling to get in front of the camera, I actually have a free masterclass this Saturday on June 25th. The link, I will drop it in the comments, but it's also in my profile. Why? Because if you're trying to get out there, video actually helps. Just like Troy is sitting here with you, sharing his experience, allowing you to feel and see what it's like. Because sometimes you want to do a little bit of research before you actually work with someone. Video is that opportunity to be able to say, hey, I like this person. I like what they're sharing in the videos. I like what they're sharing in the live. I can ask questions. If you are catching the live right now, thank you so much. If you're catching the replay, thank you. If you have questions, you can definitely drop them, because what's going to happen is that if you're catching the replay, Troy's going to come and answer them. So remember, this is just how you can bring visibility. This is how you can see if this person that's on the screen right now is whom you want to continue to work with. I mean, Troy, for you, how has video helped with your business?
Oh yeah, we just started using streaming and live like just the other day. We were just doing Zooms and stuff, and we were amazed. So we were able to get a lot of people very interested. As far as the video and posting and all that stuff, it makes all the difference in the world. So we incorporate posts from video, from still images to text to carousels. I have multiple PDFs. But like our stream that we did yesterday, we have so much content. We have 1 hour. We probably have probably about 10 or 15 videos that cut out of that. And so those fill in the gaps for some of your marketing material, especially when you have other guests on board.
Absolutely. Like, people think, hey, I got to create video all the time. There are so many strategic ways on how to do
Mhm.
that so that you are researching one day, bulk creating one day, then doing a live. It's not as bad as you think, but first is being in front of the camera. So I will be sharing 5 best tips. It's this Saturday. Sign up for my free masterclass. It's free, there's no replay, and you'll get a lot of great information to help you. So, Troy, I got to ask you, what are the best ways to connect with you? And you were talking about some free call that you have.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, if they go to my profile, just look me up, put my first name and last name. Unless you have my LinkedIn profile, you can put it in the chat, and just connect with me. Just say, hey, I saw you on the live stream. Love to connect, and I'll accept it. And then on my profile, underneath my info, once you connect it, there's a booking link there. Grab 15 minutes. It's free. Always here to help.
Love it. I'm over here trying to put it in the chat.
Maybe I should have like opened it up prior. So I
I
have to apologize to your whole audience. I was tied up on another call before setting this up, and then Siri was telling me how to set this thing up. I said, "Yeah, it connects to your restream and all your channels." I'm like, "What? Yeah, let's do it." And so my timing was a bit bad, but I have to say though, the last call was a potential client, so had to do it.
Hey, I mean, that's what's the beauty of a pop up live. It's the beauty of live streaming. Things happen, our
Yeah.
kids run in, the dog. I mean, and this is what people are afraid of. Like, oh, what if all of this? Well, guess what? It's live streaming. We're in our house.
Yeah.
I'm in my second studio, which is my bedroom, but my other one is where my daughter is sleeping right now. But we make the best of it. You just have to use what you have and show up. That's really important. And so I want to ask you, Troy, what are some words of advice that you have before we end this live?
As far as business is concerned or creating videos or anything like that, just be yourself. You have to be human. People like real people. So people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. I'm sure you're tired of hearing that, but it's absolutely true. You can have the most awesome technology in the world and this interesting system, but if they don't like you, they're not going to work with you. 80% of the decisions to do business with someone is based on their feelings. Not It's not facts. 20% may be your underlining goals and systems though. So always be yourself, be authentic, and go out with the sense of providing service. Always come from a place of service.
That's what it is. Come from a place of service. You will see how that will come back to you, and you will see how fast people will want to work with you. It takes time. One thing I learned about being on social media is it takes time. You got to figure out your voice, you got to figure out your
Mhm.
brand, you got to figure out your strategy. And once it starts to be put into motion, it does take a little bit of time before you realize, like, hey, people realize what I have to offer. So, definitely, if you are interested in my free masterclass, the link is there in the comments. Also, it's on my profile, it's on every post that I have that I've been doing this week. I just want to say thank you to Troy. Thank you to those who are joined us on this live pop up, and those who are watching the replay. I want to say that all of you are the real one, and I will be going live later on this evening with my guest Danny. So look out for that. But I hope you have a wonderful day. And also, if you're on TikTok, I'll be going live in the next 10 minutes there. So come and join me. Take care, everybody.